The countdown timer on the checkout page hits 4:59, and your heart does a stupid little thing it should not do over a pair of shoes. The salesperson leans in, easy and friendly, like it is a favor just for you. This price is only good today. And somewhere between your brain forming the word no and your mouth opening, a yes climbs out. The warranty, the thing you return by Tuesday. Or the friend who asks one small favor, then a bigger one, and you hear yourself agreeing before you decided. And the voice arrives right on cue. Why are you such a pushover? Why can't you just say no? What is wrong with you? So let me say this right up front. There is nothing wrong with you. There is something very old that is very right, and it is being pointed at your wallet. You are not weak, not spineless, not a sucker. That yes that jumps out under pressure is a set of ancient shortcuts firing exactly the way they were built to. And for almost all of human history, every one of them kept you alive. This is the story of why a stranger you will never see again can make you open your wallet against your own judgment. And the reason it works is older and stranger than you think. To understand the yes, we have to go back. A long, long way back. Long before checkout pages and countdown timers, before a stranger was even a thing your brain expected to do business with. Picture your ancestors in a small band on the open grassland, and feel this first, in your bones. There was no one new. You lived your whole life inside one band, maybe 150 faces, and that was the entire world. The same people who shared food with you, defended you, raised your children. No leaving, no strangers to deal with, just these faces, forever. And inside that world, 4 little rules of thumb were not gullibility, they were survival. The first one, reciprocity. When someone shared meat with you in a good week, you felt the pull to give it back in theirs. And that pull built the alliances that kept you fed when your own hunt failed. The one who took and never gave back got quietly cut loose. The second, authority. The elder who had lived through 3 droughts genuinely did know where the water was. When the best hunter said move, deferring to them was not weakness, it was the smartest thing you could do. Defer to the one who has survived, or learn the hard way alone. The third, following the crowd. When everyone you had known your whole life suddenly dropped what they were doing and ran from a plant, copying them that instant was the difference between living and dying. The crowd was honest, costly information. You did not stop to ask for the data. You ran and asked questions later, if there was a later. And the fourth, scarcity. When the berries were genuinely running out, the one who grabbed them fast ate, and the one who deliberated went hungry. There was no restock. Running out meant gone. So think what that did over thousands of generations. The ancestor who paused to deliberate on every favor, who shrugged at the fleeing crowd, who waited politely while the last berries vanished, got fewer alliances and occasionally got eaten. But the one who repaid fast, deferred fast, followed fast, grabbed fast, survived, and had children. And those children are us. We are the children of the fast yes. You inherited those 4 reflexes, flawless and intact. But here is the catch. The world they were built to read just disappeared. So take those 4 instruments, hundreds of thousands of years old, calibrated perfectly for 150 permanent faces, where the giver was kin, the authority was earned, the crowd was your family, and the scarcity was real. And drop them, unchanged, into the year 2026, where an entire industry has read the manual. Because here is what they have to deal with now. The free sample is not your cousin sharing meat. It is a tactic, engineered to put you in debt before you have bought a thing. The expert is not the elder who survived the drought. It is an actor in a lab coat, or a logo, or a confident voice that learned the word data. The crowd is not your band fleeing real danger. It is a banner that says 347 people are viewing this right now, and sometimes that number is just code. And the scarcity, it is not the last berries on the bush. It is a countdown timer that resets the moment you refresh the page. Only 2 left, in a warehouse with 10,000. And every one of your 4 reflexes still fires at full ancestral strength because it cannot tell the difference. It just feels the lever move, and it says yes, the way it always has. And here is the part that really is not fair. A culture that prizes being savvy, sharp, hard to fool, does not explain this gap to you. It just hands you the label: pushover, sucker, weak. So you carry 2 wounds where there should be 0. The regret about the purchase, and then the shame about the yes. And neither one is your fault. But that is the story. What the labs actually find, when they put this under the lights, is stranger than the story. So here is what everyone gets backwards. They think you said yes because you are weak. But these are not flaws. They are documented buttons, and here is the footage of them being pushed. Start with the map. Robert Cialdini at Arizona State University spent 3 years undercover inside sales floors and fundraising rooms, and in 1984 he published Influence. All the ways a stranger gets you to yes came down to a handful of automatic levers: reciprocity, commitment, social proof, authority, liking, scarcity. So the yes that surprises you is one of a few buttons, and someone trained is pressing it. Then, the free sample. In 1971, Dennis Regan at Cornell University, in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, had a stranger buy the subject an unasked-for 10-cent Coke, then asked them to buy raffle tickets. That tiny gift roughly doubled how many they bought, even among people who did not like the guy. That is why the comp before the upsell feels impossible to refuse. Then, the small yes. In 1966, Jonathan Friedman and Scott Fraser at Stanford University, in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, found people who first agreed to a tiny request were far more likely to grant a big one later. That is the free trial. Once you have taken one step, backing out feels like contradicting yourself. Then, the timer. In 1975, Stephen Warchel and his colleagues at the University of Virginia, in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, gave people identical cookies. They rated the very same cookie as more desirable when only 2 were in the jar instead of 10. Only 2 left does not describe the product. It retunes how much you want it. And then, the lab coat. In 1963, Stanley Milgram at Yale University, in the Journal of Abnormal and Social Psychology, ran his obedience study, where ordinary adults, told by a man in a lab coat to keep going, believed they were shocking a stranger. In that one condition, about 65% went all the way. Now I have to be honest, that study is real and foundational and ethically infamous, and obedience swung wildly across his versions, so do not hear everyone obeys. Hear only that deference to a confident expert runs so deep the lab coat alone can move us, which is why the white coat sells toothpaste. So here is the twist. You would think you say yes under pressure because you are weak, but it is the opposite. Those 4 reflexes are how a fragile, cooperative species survived at all. And here is the deeper cut. These shortcuts are still good. They are the machinery of trust, of every alliance you have ever built. Your instinct to repay a kindness is one of the best things about you. It just cannot tell the gift came from someone billing your reflex by the hour. The problem was never your wiring. It is the strangers who studied it. But here is the catch. The lever does not stop pulling just because you can name it. Okay, deep breath with me. Because I do not want you to walk out of here trusting no one, flinching at every kind gesture like it is a trap. So let me draw a very clear line, because this part matters. This is the lens of evolution, not the final proof of everything. These are plausible, exploited heuristics, not a destiny, and people resist these tactics all the time. And these 4 shortcuts are usually good: reciprocity, deference, following the crowd, moving on scarcity. That is most of what makes humans able to trust and cooperate at all. The villain is not the instinct. It is not even sales. It is the engineered version, aimed by strangers who read the manual. And often, the yes is the right call. The skill is not refusing everything. It is buying yourself the pause. So what do you actually do with it? You do not try to grow a spine, and you do not win an argument with a reflex 200,000 years old. You will lose. Instead, you name the lever. When the timer ticks, that is the scarcity button, and it resets when I refresh. When the free thing arrives, that is reciprocity. I can take the gift and still walk. When the screen says everyone is buying it, that is social proof, and a banner is not my band. And naming the lever gives you the one thing the reflex never had, a half-second of distance. And almost always, yes can wait until tomorrow. A real deal survives a night's sleep. Because here is the truth I want you to keep. That yes that jumps out of you under pressure is not a weak spine. It is 4 of the oldest reflexes you own. Repay a kindness, trust the expert, follow the crowd, grab what is running out. And for almost all of human history, every one of them kept you bonded and alive. They cannot tell that the gift was engineered to put you in debt, that the lab coat is a costume, that the crowd is a banner, that the only 2 left resets on refresh. So the next time you cave to the timer and a voice calls you a pushover, you can answer it honestly. I am not weak. I am running the exact software that lets human beings trust and cooperate at all, in a marketplace full of strangers paid to pull its strings. So go easy on the one inside you who said yes. It is not naive. It is loyal, and it is old, and it is the same part of you that lets you love your people and keep your word. You were never weak. You were targeted, and now you can see the strings. You are not a pushover. You are exquisitely cooperative, in a room full of people paid to bill you for it. So send this to 2 people. Send it to the person who keeps calling you a pushover, and send it to the one who keeps calling themselves it. Tell them both the same thing. There was never anything wrong with them. There was only something very old that was very right.